Hey everyone, this is KDK Kyodaiken and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we are going to continue our topic of the Cronuszen. With Zen Studio, I'm going to give you guys a full overview of the software and all the full capabilities that the Cronuszen can do. For those of you guys who are new to the channel, the Cronuszen is the follow-up model to the Cronusmax. It has officially released in the middle of May. There really aren't a lot of videos and tutorials that give you guys a full walkthrough, so I thought I'd go ahead and knock this out and help you guys get further informed. Now, I'm not going to cover a lot of script writing and development. I haven't really touched a lot on that in some time. I used to actually write scripts myself, but today I just wanted to give you guys a video about what the full potential of the Cronuszen is and give you guys a little walkthrough of what you can do with the software. The Cronuszen retails for $79.99. It's also the upgraded model to the Cronusmax. And so there's a lot of things you guys can do with it, regardless if you're just using it for, aim assist and other things like that, using it for games like Call of Duty. So let's take a look at that. And I want to help you guys get really familiar with this, especially if you're new to this or just waiting on your product. Let's go ahead and take care of it. So really quickly, the Cronuszen is an all-in-one adapter. It allows you to use multiple controllers or different devices across a number of different consoles. You can use this for your Xbox 360, your Xbox One, your PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3. You can use this for your arcade mods. You can use this for a number of other different units that are out there. You can use this for your arcade sticks. If you guys are familiar with the Brooks device, this is a much more far superior device than it is to Brooks. The benefit of this is that a lot of things you guys can do with it is software controlled. I'm going to cover some of the new firmware updates that has been released. I believe the new firmware update is 1.0.3 with the changelog. So remember, anytime you update the firmware, you're also going to update the software. So let's go ahead and take a look at the software really quick. You're going to go to cronusmax.com/downloads if you guys are all new to this. You can see the changelog here. We're going to take a look at that. So let's scroll down. So in order to get the software, you're going to go here and download it. And also you're going to need the firmware updated. I'm not going to cover that today. That can be covered in another video. The software is backed by the Collective Minds update tool, so you want to go ahead and download it. So once you go ahead and do that, you want to make sure you download the, this will give you the software, which is this right here. And then let's go ahead and take a look at the changelog really quick. If you guys are familiar with the changelog this is what the firmware update does. And I can verify that it has updated or fixed some things, and they are slowly making improvements to it as well. That's one thing I love about this device, is that it's a firmware update for a lot of capable things. And the really added benefit of getting this one over the Cronusmax is it has 3 inputs on here. So you have 3 USB slots, and you also have Bluetooth connectivity as well. Wouldn't work with the Nintendo Switch with the Cronusmax, so you guys always have that. It has about, I believe, 10 added slots you guys can add in the background. So just a quick update really quick on some of the firmware updates that they did add. They disabled buttons and slots within this tab. The device isn't plugged in with the programmer tab. Fixed a bug where videos were not being loaded if the user clicked on a slot that contained a game pack. I can vouch for that. That's definitely been fixed. Added controls on auto close. Okay. M&K settings plugin. M&K stands for mouse and keyboard. So for those of you guys who know, yes, you can use a controller and your mouse and keyboard all at the same time. Now, I know I want to get into this a little bit later in the video, but I think this device is really overlooked. I mean, I know I've talked to a number of people, and this thing has so many capabilities. So in a situation for your mouse and keyboard, you guys can play Grand Theft Auto 5, run around, kill everybody, do your thing. And let's say you jump into a car, you jump into a boat, or you jump into a helicopter. And let's say you already have a steering wheel with gas pedal setups. You could leave your controller in your lap, drop it if you want to, and then all of a sudden, you start using your steering wheel and your pedals, or if you're to navigate around or drive around and have that car feel if you want to. Or if you're using this for an arcade mod, you can also use this to for your arcade stick. And then let's say you're playing a game like Centipede, you can then just move on over to your trackball and start playing Centipede. Or if let's say if you have an arcade cabinet all in one, you have your joystick, you have your trackball, but you also have a flight stick connected as well for games like Tron. Well, guess what? You have all that wrapped into one, right into one USB encoder, and you guys can adjust all the settings directly from the software. So that's really one of the main benefits of the mouse and keyboard settings. And this is the modding device you guys do need for your arcade setups. You also have your online library tab. So there are some online library scripts, things that you guys can download. Those are things that you guys will take advantage of. Compiler tab are GPJ files, compiler tabs where people write scripts and you can compile it directly to your Cronuszen. I'll cover that in this video. General various UI fixes and enhancements, new tabs has been removed. That's not something you guys really, spend too much time on. Device monitor, fixed device monitor labels for wheels and other types, so I can vouch for that. Max record, I will cover this in today's video. Fixed a bug that will cause Zen Studio to freeze. I can vouch for that. That did happen to me. That has been fixed. The team is really good with fixing things. And Cronuszen firmware update to 2.0.4. I do have that, so we'll cover that today. And if you guys are a dev or interested in making scripts, they are looking for people who can make scripts for the libraries. So let's go ahead and take a look at the software and get you guys rolling and get really familiar with all the software and all the things that the Zen Studio has to offer. All right, so here we are at the Zen Studio. And as you can see, my firmware version up here at the top is 1.0.3. And my software down here at the bottom is 2.0.4. So this is the latest version of the Zen Studio. I have a few packs here marked as favorites. There is a YouTube channel called Cronuszen. Make sure you guys get over there, like and subscribe. I believe it's tied in to their YouTube account some kind of way as far as all these videos, so you guys can kind of get an idea. But there's plenty of scripts in here. They do need some help, as far as writing scripts, if you guys have any expertise with that. And then it also lets you know which ones are the newest anytime that they update, so you guys get all these as well. So there's plenty of games you guys can use this for. I just have a few marked as favorites: Modern Warfare, Warzone, and Call of Duty. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. So up here you have your file button. This shows you all your recent files and you can open all your scripts. We'll move over here to compiler. Let's take a look here. Let's look at the library. So this is a library of all the scripts that are made right now for the Cronuszen. And I do believe you can use this software as well for the Cronusmax. You guys can switch back and forth between which device that you do have. And up here it tells you if you guys want to select what kind of scripts you want to look for. If you want to use them for Xbox One or PlayStation 4, you guys can do that as well. It also shows you what is recently updated and the top download for the Cronuszen. I'm sure it's obviously the shooting games, which is pretty much what people use this for. And then of course you have all products, so you can look at Zen only or Cronusmax. So let's switch over to Cronusmax. And as you can see, this is where you will find all of your scripts for the Cronusmax. So if you want to find Zen only, you guys can navigate and do that as well. Over here, let's go back a little bit. We have our compiler button. So let's say if I downloaded one of these, it would come over here to the compiler. I could right click, build and run, and then it would show the script here and it goes into an active slot number 10. Now that number 10 is an additional slot to what is on the main screen. So we'll get into that a little bit better. Currently, since this is the device monitor, I do have my Xbox One. You know what? In fact, let me come back to this. I want to get ahead of myself. This is the programmer button. So this is where you guys can download all your scripts. You guys can search by either the Zen Studio, or I'm sorry, for the Zen scripts, or you can look up the Cronus Plus, Cronusmax Plus here. So these are all the scripts for the Cronusmax Plus. Obviously, you see there's a ton of them because the product has been out for a number of years. And then, of course, if I switch back over to Zen, you have the scripts already made in the community for the Cronuszen. Now, if you guys want to add a script to your system, to your Cronuszen, all you have to do is click on the one that you want, drag it down, and then, of course, it gives you more detailed information about what this particular script can do. You can make adjustments here. There's also another video I have that shows you how to configure this. I'm not going to go into that in this tutorial. And let's say if you want to write it. So right now, even though these three scripts are already written to my Cronuszen, this one isn't. So in order to write it, you need to hit the play button. Save into device. And of course, you can save up to 8 of these on the Cronuszen. It just takes a few seconds. All right. And if I want to erase it, you can't click on it and hit delete. So what you need to do, I'm sorry. Once you click on this script, if you guys want to see what it can do, all you have to do is click on it, and then it will pop up with the instructions and tell you guys exactly what it can do and who it was written by. So let's go ahead and close this out. And I'm going to go ahead and remove Battlefield. I don't have Battlefield. I don't intend on using it. So let's go ahead and delete it. So I'm just going to grab it and drag it right over here to the trash can. And there it goes. Simple as that. This other menu down here, this is for GP scripts. If I have GP scripts on my computer that are already written. I believe this is usually if you use the Max recorder, you could have it here and then just drag them down to the slots. So let's go ahead and take a look at a few other things there. This is just your folder menu. If you guys have additional scripts, you guys can put them in your folders there on your computer. And this is your remapper profile. It lets you guys know which which scripts are used for the remapper. So you have your Xbox One control on a PS4, hair trigger, Xbox One on a PS4, Xbox 360 on a PS4, Xbox 360 on a PS4. You have your Wii controller, Pro controller, PS4. This is if you have like an inverted aim. And a lot of this is if you guys are using controller with inverted controllers or whatnot, and you guys can adjust the settings from here. This over here is my device. This tells you what the device can do as far as setting up the brightness or the LED here on the screen. The emulator output protocol, currently it is set to auto. You can leave this as auto. There's only been a few instances where I've used the Cronusmax. I haven't had that issue with the Cronuszen where I had to manually change the output protocol. But you do have your automatic protocols here where you can set it for your PlayStation 3, your Xbox 360, your PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC Mobile. And of course, since this is all firmware updated, if you guys are asking the question of, can I use this on my new Xbox model that will be coming out, or the PS5, I'm sure that'll be capable and possible to make that happen. Over here on the right, these are my connected devices. As you guys can see, currently I have my Dell keyboard plugged in into the slot. I also have a mouse plugged in. I also have my joypad plugged in, and currently I have this is plugged into my PC, but it's recognizing it as a Microsoft Xbox adapter right now. So this is the console that it says it's hooked up, but it's actually PC right now because PC drivers are usually detected as Microsoft controllers. So you guys can see these are all the controllers that I currently have hooked up to the Zen. So you guys can find that over here in the device section. So let's go back up here to the top. This is primarily what you will be using the Cronuszen for. So you guys can map out your controllers and see everything that's going on. Currently, the A1 slot is my Xbox Elite controller. That's my gamepad. So you'll see that there. The A2 slot, which is this is actually the one that's on the far left of your Cronuszen. The A2 slot is the one that's on the front. On the left side, I have my mouse plugged into that. And then the A3 slot is the Dell keyboard. I don't have Bluetooth activated right now with this, but this does have a Bluetooth signal as well. So you guys can see this is what I have hooked up. And because I do have my Xbox Elite controller plugged in, and this is trying to register or connect, you will need that Microsoft adapter to make it work with the Xbox Microsoft Elite controller. But it still recognizes the Bluetooth because it is a wireless controller as well. All right, let's back up a little bit. We're going to go back to the next plugin section, which is the Max combo. So let's say, for example, this is usually made for games like Street Fighter, your Mortal Kombats, your Tekkens, and other games out there. Or if you guys want to use this for, let's say, Pac-Man. You want to achieve a high score. Your best friend is a phenomenal Pac-Man player, and you have a problem getting past the level. You can have them plug in a controller, play the game, and record everything. And then you could take the software and the script, plug it into your unit, and have them do all the actions for you. So let's say you're playing a game, let's say a speed game. You know, a lot of those guys, they do speed runs and stuff. You can have them do all that, record it, and plug in the script onto your unit, and it would remember all their actions and unlock all the achievements or help you guys get past that certain level. That's one of the things this can also do. As far as Pac-Man, I know some of the games are a little differently because of how they correspond, but let's say if you guys are playing Pac-Man and you know a guy named Billy Mitchell, you want to have him play and remember all the moves, for example, to help you guys get towards the next level. It could do that. In fact, you don't even need to have the controller plugged in, and it will remember all of the controls and every motion that person did for the combo and memorization of their movement and directly in for your controller. So it's pretty unique and really handy, and you guys can go ahead and do all that. So it's really something you guys should take advantage of. All right, next but not least, we have the Max Mapper. Now, this is my specialty. I love getting in this program. This is really good for all you arcade modders out there, for all of you who have your arcade 1-ups, or if you have your arcade tank sticks and whatnot. You can plug in whatever controller you want or your Microtech USB encoder, and you can map your arcade sticks directly to how they would typically be mapped on a controller. You have full control here. I know with other devices like the Brooks device and several others, they really don't have a front end software where you can go in and map out everything. A lot of people still try to do things from a hardware perspective. So if you are looking to map out turbo buttons for your game or do some other things, this gives you full control to do whatever it is you want to do with your controller setup. You can also adjust the dead zone of all of your joysticks. You can invert your joysticks from here. This is something you guys need to pay attention to if you guys are in the control or arcade modding, because the joysticks are usually inverted. So when you go down, it actually goes up, and when it goes up, it actually goes down. With this, and you're using the Cronuszen, if you want to mod this using your Xbox 360, your Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 3, if you want to use this for your Switch, Wii U, or whatever, you can adjust the joystick to go in any direction to match the output algorithm of your USB encoder. And you can do that with either the left side, or you could do it with either the right side. So that's definitely helpful there. You can also rearrange your triggers. You have your sensitivity triggers. This is something the Xbox Elite Controller 2 has definitely changed as far as your left and right trigger sensitivity. You could do that as well. You have full customization to adjust all of your controllers exactly how you guys want them to be. As far as your D-step mapping, you guys can also map the joystick buttons to your D-pads. I know some games that use the D-pad motion. If you want to reallocate that to your joystick, you could do that as well. Or if you want to move the joystick function over to the D-pad, you have that as well. You have your buttons here. You can change them. Now, I do know that there is a diagram for a lot of the arcade modding community where you can wire in your buttons. You're supposed to do them in a, I don't remember the exact pattern. I have it where it's supposed to be like A, X, Y, B, whatever. Typically, you guys are doing that on a hardware level, and that's fine. But with this, you have it on the software level. So you can customize wherever you want your buttons to do or correspond directly on this device, and it will output it correctly. So I hope that that helps you guys. But this is one of the things that is really different or substantiates this device from the rest, is having software controlled configurability where you can go in, configure all your joysticks for your arcade cabinet. And if you guys are using this on the console, you guys can map this out as well. You do have additional buttons here. So let's say if I want to adjust my buttons for PS3 or PS4, if you want to change your buttons for the for the Xbox 360, you have that as well here. So you guys can move your inputs around, see exactly how they would line up, and you guys can adjust that accordingly. Next item on the list is the Max Recorder. I demonstrated this a few nights ago using the Mortal Kombat tool. This tool is really good if you want to just record a quick fatality or a quick move and have the game remember it, and then you can save it and then just hit playback, and then it will do exactly what you guys wanted it to do. On the left right now is my Xbox One Elite controller. I'm pressing up LY, and now I'm pressing down LY. That's on the left stick Y. And as you can see, there is the plus and minus, positive and negative algorithm for the controller, lets you guys know what direction is going in. And the Xbox One, where you see where it says Xbox One LX, that is the left stick with the X axis. So you guys can see I'm moving it right and left, and you guys can see the buttons there, the positive and negative meter, letting you guys know what direction I'm moving it in. And the Xbox One on, this is the right stick. I'm moving it up and down, going up, down, up, down. And then this is left and right using the X axis. That's my right trigger, left trigger, Y, X, A, and B. Then you can press in. That's left stick push in, right stick push in. We have the start button there for the menu. We have the other option for the view. We have the Xbox button right there at the top. So you guys can adjust all of these accordingly. And then, of course, this is my D-pad here. Xbox One up, down, left, and right. So you guys have all your buttons there. There's also a sync button. I'm not going to mess with that right now. There is a sync button there. You guys can have that adjusted. So those are all your button functionalities that you guys can see here for the device monitor. So when you guys are using this for, let's say, your arcade 1-up or any other unit you guys have out there, or arcade cabinet, and you want to make some adjustments on the fly, you have that there, that diagram there, so you guys can adjust it. Or if you guys have this plugged in for, let's say, a different console or a different unit, you guys have that as well, so you guys can have your own personal readout. So let's go back. And I believe, oh yes, this is the last and final one. This is the mouse and keyboard movement. So if you guys are using a mouse and keyboard, and along with your joypad, you have to go into this setting, the mouse and keyboard, in order to adjust your settings and have them correspond with your joystick. So I was playing with this a few nights ago. I do plan on doing a full tutorial and review for this, but this allows you to map out your mouse and keyboard buttons that will also simulate your gamepad. Let me see if I need to pull up the device monitor here. See if this will help you guys out. All right. All right, so I have my device monitor here, and what this is doing is letting you know how my mouse or my keyboard is set up and responds in correlation with my controller. So if you guys have a PlayStation controller, you guys could get the general idea, but I have an Xbox controller plugged in. So this is my Xbox controller setup here. And these are how the mouse and the mouse corresponds with that Xbox controller. Let's see, the left mouse button is, some of these aren't mapped, so you guys do have to set these up. So you see how they're not mapped, you do have to go into the mouse and keyboard setting and adjust that accordingly. And I'm going to show you guys how to do a little bit of that today, but I'll do a full tutorial on that at a later date. And then this right now, this is the default setup for the keyboard on how it responds to the gamepad. So remember how I was saying you have your gamepad play Grand Theft Auto and switch over to a mouse keyboard, or you can switch over to a trackball setting, or switch over to your joystick for, let's say, if you guys play aerial flight, or using your flight stick if you're playing games like Tron or something like that. You can map all that here with this device monitor, so it's going to let you guys know exactly what you're going to do. So again, we have a keyboard plugged in, we have our mouse, we're obviously hooked up to my computer, and then of course we have our gamepad. So let's see, on the right stick movement, let's go ahead and select the mouse, and we're going to set the mouse over here. And if I want to change my mouse button for the setup, currently the mouse button on the left trigger button, the left click is set up for the left trigger, and the right mouse click is set up for, let me see, do I have this backwards? Okay, no, I'm sorry. The left trigger is set up for mouse button number 2, and the right trigger is set up for the mouse button 1. So this is usually the defaulted button on your mouse, and then of course this, if you would normally right click, is set up for the left trigger by default. You can always change these if you want. And then of course let's scroll down here, I'll show you guys something else. So this is where you guys would select everything, and right now nothing is mapped out to the mouse. And you don't have to do that on the mouse. You can use this for the keyboard. If you guys are using the mouse and keyboard setup, you can adjust all that here. Let's take a look right now at the keyboard button. Let me see, the mouse scroll button. Let me see if it's on here. And this is a default situation. So the wheel on your mouse currently defaulted is set up as the Y button. So you guys can change all these settings and you tune them exactly however you guys want them for any game. The keyboard right now, go back. And so the keyboard right now, the letter V is left trigger. The E button, the letter E, is set up as your right stick. A is spacebar, B is C, X is R, Y is 1. Of course, all this stuff is customizable. You guys can adjust that as well. So there's no biggie there. So those are some easy buttons you guys can configure for your mouse and keyboard. You guys have that all here. But again, I'll show you guys how to do all that in another review. Today we're just playing around with this, giving you guys a look, because I know there's not a lot of videos out there on this. And then of course, if you want to see your device monitor to see exactly how everything is corresponding here, you guys can go ahead here, click this button, and it will show you how everything is set up. All in all, I do consider this an all-around device, and it is something that everybody should have if you guys are a retro gamer or a current gen gamer. This device is really helpful. It will save you a lot of money in having to buy controllers for every console. Currently, I have about 4 controllers on the Xbox 360. Actually, no, I have 8 controllers on my Xbox 360s, and then of course I have about 4 or 5 for Xbox One. So in the future, if I do decide to get a PS5, for example, or maybe one of the other units, I'm already ready to go with a device like this because it has great expansibility options where you can expand it, put it on different consoles, and prevent you guys from having to buy additional controllers. This will also work on the Raspberry Pi unit for RetroPie. That's another great option. So just keep an open mind about what you guys can use this device for. It is the all-in-one device for arcade modding, in my opinion. I prefer this over, obviously, than the Cronusmax because this is an upgrade. And then, of course, over the Titan and also the Brooks device because it is software controlled. I will cover in another video as well as to what are the differences between a device like this. What does it allow you to fully do versus what people typically consider hacking, or I know that's a big thing right now with Call of Duty and some of the other games, and it's really interesting. But I will touch bases on that. Just make sure you guys hit that bell so you guys can be notified when I post additional content in this matter. But all in all, this is an all-in-one device, and I just wanted to give you guys a comprehensible look at what this software can do, the things you can do with it. Please keep in mind that this is not just a device to help get your KD ratios up for games like Call of Duty or Fortnite or Apex Legends. You can use this for a number of things, and I particularly don't use it much for those particular games. I use it more or less for modding and, you know, hooking it up to different consoles and stuff, and arcade modding as well. But this is KDK Kildike, and stay tuned for another video. I'll catch you guys next time. You guys have a good day.